Startup Report is the founder of Actuology, Steph. Tulley, welcome.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for having me.
So a lot of cool aspects to the story of Actuology. You've been in the insurance space for a long time. You saw an opportunity to make it better, and you are seizing that opportunity. So so we can get our head around it, let's talk about what Actuology is.
Yeah, so Actuology is an insurtech company that does not sell an insurance product. And I have to make that stipulation because what we do is in this service to the consumer, and we don't sell them a single thing. What we do is advise them through the insurance process and therefore providing a platform for them to have an interactive experience. So it's pretty fun, pretty straightforward, and it's what I love doing.
And with this platform is the idea that it will plug into existing insurance providers, sites and things like that to enhance the user experience, or it will be a standalone platform? Or both?
Yeah, of course. So our partners would be, of course, insurtech companies, because we want to leverage not only ourselves, but the industry at large. So my goal is never to disrupt the players, but the industry by providing a service for distribution channels that are needed. And that's what we're doing.
So the idea here is that the value prop you're offering to consumers is education. So they understand what the products are, what's the best fit for them. And then the service that you're offering to the providers is those leads that are now ideally hyper-focused on the specific products they have to offer.
Yeah, they're highly qualified leads, and they're also tailored to the insurtech companies that are our partners.
Right. So this is just it's maybe 1.5 sided marketplace. A lot of times when you have double-sided marketplaces, you have that double cost of customer acquisition challenge. Certainly, if you can prove the leads are coming in, acquiring the insurance companies shouldn't be a problem. But there are a lot of dollars competing for eyeballs for potential insurance customers. So how do you think you can win that battle?
So I know my customer because I've been bootstrapped into everything and having those conversations with them directly. The other great thing is I'm targeting the emerging market, which is that Gen Z and early millennials. So what's happening is the trends that once worked in our industry, like how do you target these demographics, is no longer the case. So what we're doing is we're creative with our positioning, but also very tactical with how we address that market. Because it's me, it's my market, it's my industry. I know it too well.
So can we dig in a little bit to how that expresses itself? How are you going to achieve that?
Yeah, so with the Gen Z or early millennial, I like to put it that way, market, I call us the Google generation, not because we were here when Google was a thing, but the concept of if you don't know something, Google it. So the concept of searching for something on your own and getting quality information is not a long-term, out of far-reaching concept. It's right directly there. And insurance companies need to have a resource that we can go to, get quality information, and then make our own decisions.
Got it. And so really it's about winning the Google game and being the best first choice when you're starting to educate yourself about insurance.
Correct. And the quality choice is what we focus on, high quality.
Sure. So obviously, there are multiple layers to that. One is understanding the industry and the offerings and being able to, determine which are the best ones, being able to present that all in a compelling way. And perhaps maybe the hardest one is actually just getting the eyeballs onto the platform to experience, the first two items. How do you hope to do that?
So one short-term solution is obviously PR. It's very important for startup companies to have visibility and also have our names out there, which is a short-term solution. However, long-term, having a quality SEO plan and having a great marketing strategy is quintessential to any startup to become a valuable player. And we have a formula that we've figured out what exactly we're going to do.
That's great. Cool. That's a challenge. And it seems like there might be a play with partnering with the if the providers are if you already deem people as quality providers, potentially partnering with them to add Actuology content to their sites alone, just to make the sales process more sticky for people who find their way to their sites as well. Because if you've mastered that part of it, there's a couple ways to get value out of that.
Correct. So the major pain point, and let's back a little bit back with InsurTech in general, is we have two competing forces. We have InsurTech and incumbent. And with the InsurTech space, they have an amazing platform, great UX, they have a great interface, great design, insert tech word, whatever, you have it. But they're great at what they do. The problem is they're not tenured. So the consumer sees them as, who's this new guy selling me a product that looks great, but I don't understand it. And truthfully, where's the credibility? What we're saying is, hey, consumer, deal with us. We'll be in the marketplace to have that conversation and shift you over to companies that provide exactly what you need and add that credibility that they're so begging for.
Yeah, so that's a really great insight. So you're actually counteracting the brand longevity of an Allstate or whatever. People say, I know this brand, but what I'm learning is they may not be the best fit for me. And by going through this learning process, I'm feeling more comfortable with brands I may not recognize, but that has been compensated for by the education that I'm getting.
Exactly.
Clever.
And in the incumbent space, a lot of people fail to realize that incumbents are now InsurTech companies. There is no logistical difference between the two because either you're getting bought by an incumbent or you're directly competing with them. So it shows users want to be able to sell and buy things by themselves. So we're just making it easier for everyone, truthfully.
It's fantastic. And this comes out of many years of being in the business yourself. Can you talk a little bit about that journey and sort of how this opportunity came to light?
Yeah, so I started out as a receptionist at a little small insurance agency, and I was like, wait a second, I can talk knowledge. I think I'm smart. I think I could do this. So I got my licenses and I was like, hey, let me just become an advisor. Went into that role, excelled in it. Then it went into a management role where I was like, I can direct people on how to do this process and do it correctly and speak to the consumer as an individual and not as a sale. They are smart, they are informed, and we have to treat them as such. And moving on to the management role, into partnership, and then into owning a insurance agency, and now ad CEO hat at this point. And I love what I do, but it's all a learning position within the journey and truly understanding the customer to a very deep level that most don't have.
So you got a lot of the customer experience in working in as you worked your way up through, from that's a great story, from receptionist to partner. Now you're adding whole new skill sets in technology and marketing. So how has that been?
Fun. It has been a learning experience, but I learned quickly, and agility is very important to me. So just because you're learning does not mean you have to move slow. And being in the CEO role is completely different from owning a book of business. It's a completely different ball game. And being able to see the evolution in the industry and being ahead of it and seeing the next steps is what creates a great company and adds longevity to a startup. So that experience I love, and it's something else.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's why we do it. A good leader aligns himself with good opportunities and people. And you moved into Embark Collective. Can you talk about how they came on your radar and how that experience has been?
Yeah, so Embark is a great tool here in Tampa. What they do is they provide not only great resources, but provide support specific to the entrepreneur at large and their team. And I always tell my team this. Bill Gates, he had his garage. We have all of Tampa Bay and Embark. There's no reason why we should fail. None at all. There's no excuse. So let's move quickly and use these resources to do correct things and just run with it.
That's great. And speaking of moving quickly, then what does the next year look like for you? I think there's a fun capital raise in the works, and what else?
Yes. So we would be looking for that initial seed fund and getting us off the ground in terms of the B2B side of business. But then I see us hitting in other markets and not just the US. This isn't just a US problem. Insurance started in Europe well back in the 17th century during the Enlightenment era. Like, they know what they're doing. And I would love to transfer what we've created here into other markets and broaden it.
That's great. I've appreciated you sharing your story, and it's been a pleasure. And we'll look forward to watching your continued growth and success in Tampa Bay, and look forward to having you back and do a checkup maybe in a little while.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Steph Tulley, Actuology.